Hello, and welcome to Bible in Motion. In today's quiz, you're going to test your knowledge about the parables of Jesus. You'll have 10 seconds to answer each question, and for every correct answer, you get 1 point. Don't forget to keep track of your score and share it with us in the comments at the end. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our content. Ready for the challenge? Let's get started. In the parable of the sower, what type of soil represents those who hear the word, but the worries of life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke it? Rocky soil, soil among thorns, or soil along the path? The correct answer is soil among thorns. Very good. Let's go to the next one. In the parable of the prodigal son, what does the father do when he sees his son returning home? He runs, embraces, and kisses him. He tells him to kneel and ask for forgiveness. Or he ignores the son and tells him to leave? The correct answer is he runs, embraces, and kisses him. Let's move on to the next one. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, who was the first to pass by the injured man and not help? A priest, a Levite, or a publican? The correct answer is a priest. Let's go to the next question. In the parable of the rich man and Lazarus, what did the rich man ask Abraham while in torment? To send Lazarus to his house to warn his brothers that Lazarus bring him water, or to be saved by works? The correct answer is that Lazarus bring him water. Well done. Here comes the next one. In the parable of the 10 virgins, what did the foolish 5 run out of? Wine for the feast, oil for their lamps, or patience to wait? The correct answer is oil for their lamps. Excellent. Let's go to the next one. In the parable of the lost sheep, how many sheep did the shepherd have before losing one? 100, 70, or 99? The correct answer is 100. Shall we go to the next question? In the parable of the wheat and the weeds, what does the field represent? The world, the human heart, or the church? The correct answer is the world. Great! Let's go to the next one. In the parable of the pearl of great value, what did the man sell everything he had to buy? A farm, a field, or the pearl? The correct answer is the pearl. Here comes another question. In the parable of the 2 debtors, who forgave the men's debt? A judge, a king, or a creditor? The correct answer is a creditor. Did you get it right? Let's move on. In the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector, who was justified before God? The Pharisee, the tax collector, or neither? The correct answer is the tax collector. That's it. Let's go to the next one. In the parable of the talents, what did the servant do who received only 1 talent? Invested and doubled the value, hid the talent, or gave to the poor? correct answer is hid the talent. Let's move on to the next one. In the parable of the barren fig tree, how long did the owner look for fruit on it? 2 years, 4 years, or 3 years? The correct answer is 3 years. Well done. Here comes the next one. In the parable of the hidden treasure, where did the man find the treasure? In the market, in a field, or in an abandoned house? The correct answer is in a field. Excellent. Now for the next one. In the parable of the workers in the vineyard, what surprised those who worked all day? They were paid less than the last ones, they were paid the same as the last ones, or they were not paid. The correct answer is they were paid the same as the last ones. Shall we go to the next question? In the parable of the unmerciful servant, what did he do to the fellow servant who owed him little, forgave the debt, ignored him, or threw him into prison? The correct answer is threw him into prison. Did you get it right? Let's move on. In the parable of the mustard seed, what does the seed represent? Abraham's faith, the kingdom of God, or the law of Moses? The correct answer is the kingdom of God. That's it. Here comes the next one. In the parable of the net, what happens at the end of the fishing? The fish are taken to the temple, the bad fish are thrown away, or all fish are eaten? The correct answer is the bad fish are thrown away. Let's move on to the next one. In the parable of the persistent friend, how many loaves of bread did the man ask for? 1 loaf, 3 loaves, or 5 loaves? The correct answer is 3 loaves. Let's go to the next one. In the parable of the dishonest manager, what did he do to ensure his future? Ran off with the money, worked harder, or reduced the debt of the debtors? The correct answer is reduced the debt of the debtors. So let's go to the next one. In the parable of the rich fool, what did he say to his soul? Work harder, soul, you have many goods stored up. Or sell everything and follow me? The correct answer is soul, you have many goods stored up. Will you get the next one right? In the parable of the wedding banquet, who rejected the invitation? The poor and lame, friends and relatives of the king, or the first guests? The correct answer is the first guests. Here comes the next question. In the parable of the 2 houses, what does the rock symbolize? Faith, obedience to the word, or Jesus Christ? The correct answer is obedience to the word. Excellent. Now for the next one. In the parable of the vineyard and the wicked tenants, what did they do to the owner's son? Killed him, honored him, or ignored him? The correct answer is killed him. Let's move forward. In the parable of the wheat and the weeds, who sows the weeds? The sower, the enemy, or the servants? The correct answer is the enemy. How about one more question? In the parable of the watchful servant, what must the faithful servant do? Sleep and rest, be ready for the master's return, or save money for the master? The correct answer is be ready for the master's return. That's it. In the parable of the lost coin, what does the woman do when she finds the coin? Spends the coin, hides it, or calls her friends and neighbors to celebrate? The correct answer is calls her friends and neighbors to celebrate. Here comes the next one. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, what did the Samaritan use to treat the man's wounds? Water and wine, wine and oil, or salt and water? The correct answer is wine and oil. Will you get the next one right? In the parable of the two sons, which son did the will of the father? The one who said yes but didn't go, the one who said no but later went, or neither of them? The correct answer is the one who said no but later went. Here comes the next question. In the parable of the watchful servant, what happens to the negligent servant? He is rewarded, he is promoted, or he is severely punished? The correct answer is he is severely punished. Let's go to the last question. In the parable of the great banquet, what did the master of the house do when the invited guests refused to come? Canceled the feast, called the poor and outcasts, or went to the temple to pray? The correct answer is called the poor and outcasts. Excellent! So, how many points did you get? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear how you did. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join the Bible in Motion community and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next videos. Leave a like to help spread the word of God, and share this quiz with your friends and family to challenge them too. Thanks for watching, God bless you, and see you in the next video.